Greetings, friends, and welcome to worship at Unity Church. Welcome to this time that we set aside each week to open ourselves to transformation, that we might experience wonder, open-hearted engagement, and courageous action. We stand on the homelands of the Dakota and Ojibwe nations. We honor with gratitude the people who have stewarded this land throughout the generations and their ongoing contributions to this region today. We acknowledge the ongoing injustices that we have committed against the Dakota and Ojibwe nations, and we wish to interrupt this legacy, beginning with acts of healing and honest storytelling about this place. This morning, we worship both in person and online, a congregation gathered in time rather than in a single place. May we all enter into worship fully, not held back by fear or distraction or the unfamiliarity of new ways. Welcome whatever arises in your spirit during this time we share. If this is your first time attending a service, we invite you to complete a visitor card available in the pews and online so that we can provide you with more information about our congregational life. Visitors are also invited to attend a session called Finding Yourself at Unity, a conversation each Sunday focused on a different topic about Unity Church. Today's conversation will explore Unity's religious education program for children, youth, and adults. As we experience the joy that more of us are able to return to in-person worship, we have an invitation to share with you today. Please consider joining our welcome team as part of our Sunday morning hospitality ministry. The Welcome Team work is one of our most accessible ministries where you only need your warm and open heart to participate. Once a month, you and your team members will offer a warm greeting, hand out orders of worship, usher and collect and count the offering during Sunday services. Most importantly, you pay attention to people arriving here in the church building, creating bridges for newcomers to enter our community, talking to people in parish hall, helping us, in the words of our end statements, to know each other in all our fullness and to create an ever-widening circle of belonging for all people. Training and support is provided to the Welcome Team, particularly in the ways our commitment to anti-racist multiculturalism shows up in Welcome Team work. If you are interested in this or even just want to ask a question about it, Madeline Summers will be in the parish hall today at the Welcome Team recruitment table. She's got it all set up. There are slots to be filled in. Your name could be one of them. We're looking for at least 30 more team members and are hoping you will be one to say yes. After the service, Rich and I look forward to greeting those of you who are present here in person, and we invite you to join us in Parish Hall for refreshments and fellowship. Yes, the refreshments are back, donuts and beverages. Those joining us online are invited to Zoom coffee hour. And now, let us enter into worship with the ringing of the bell.
Good morning. As we gather to start this month's worship theme of witness, I am reminded that perhaps the first step to witness is to be present. Karen and I invite you, whether you are physically here or worshiping from afar, to take a few moments to center ourselves for worship. Take a deep breath and name 3 things that you can see, either with your eyes or your mind's eye. I see friends. I see this reading desk. I see a chair. Close your eyes and name 3 things that you can hear with your ears or in your memories. Then name 3 things that you can physically feel or feel in your heart. Okay, now name 2 different things that you can see, 2 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can feel. Finally, name 1 more thing that you can see, 1 more thing that you can hear, 1 more thing that you can feel. Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, and the compassionate is expected. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place. Come, let us worship together. Please join me in the responsive reading, Community. We are all longing to go home to a place we have never been. A place half remembered and half envisioned. We can only catch glimpses from time to time. Community. Somewhere, there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere, a circle of hands open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done, arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. Please join in a moment of quiet contemplation.
Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. Together, we recognize the cycle of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. We stand at the side of parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, with those who live with grief or chronic pain, with illnesses seen and unseen, with mental disability or addiction. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who care for family members in ill health, and those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty. Our lives are blessed by those who knowingly and with curiosity and courage face their final days, and by those who rise above heartbreak to challenge oppression in all its forms. We pray for those in harm's way, for the wisdom and strength of the leaders of the world, and for the people of this courageous congregation, as together we live into our longing to embody and help to build the beloved community. And will you pray with me for these we now name? We hold Andrea Lasand Anastos and George Anastos in our prayers as they celebrate the life and mourn the death of Andrea's father, Pete Lasand, who died peacefully on Monday at the age of 93 in Massachusetts. Andrea and her daughter, Philippa, were traveling back east to join the family at his bedside, but Pete died shortly before they arrived. They were grateful for an iPad connection that allowed them to share words of love with him, and for Andrea's sister, Mallory, who held his hand and named his dear ones as he took his final breath. Memorial services will be held in Massachusetts in the near future. We also hold in our hearts Ellen Wald and Larry Oberg as they mourn the death and celebrate the life of Ellen's 86-year-old brother, John, who died this past week after 2 years of dementia decline. And finally, we hold the family and friends of Dion Lamar Ford Jr., who was shot and killed during an altercation in St. Paul on Thursday night. Dion was a 2019 graduate of St. Paul Central and loved by many friends in this community. May we stand in compassionate solidarity with our neighbors here at home and all around the world, including in Ukraine. May they and may we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. I now invite you to speak aloud or hold in the silent sanctuary of your hearts the names of those you would like to lift today in worship. And will you pray with me? Holy One, source of all being and promise of all our becoming, Spirit of life pulsing eternally in every moment. What could be simpler than to be here now? To let ourselves be fully present to just this moment and whatever it brings within us and around us. And yet, it's often difficult. Our thoughts wander to worries about what will happen next. Our memories call up stories about what has happened before, maybe causing us to wish it were still that way today, or sending us down a trail of regrets. If only I'd done this, or if only I hadn't done that. There are so many paths that beckon us away from the present moment. Help us, Spirit of life, to return again, to here, to now, to ourselves, and to one another. To pause from our headlong dive into the future or our insistence on clinging to the past long enough to come into this moment fully, to inhabit our bodies and notice all the joy and sorrow that they carry, to notice as we do that we are worshiping today in this hour with many other bodies, some of them in the same room with us and some of them in places far away, each of them a human vessel for the holy, carrying their own joys and sorrows. Together, in this liminal time we share, we create the body of this congregation, a compassionate community that opens its arms to all. Help us to return to you, our holy source and inspiration, to ourselves and to one another within this congregation and beyond, that we might know and share the true power of love. May it be so, and amen. moving parts today. I have to find where I am. Today is the day that we will commission our new congregational care team. Ram Dass, the spiritual leader who made the phrase, "be here now," so well known, also once said this: "Together we are all on a journey called life. We are a little broken and a little shattered inside. Each one of us is aspiring to make it to the end. None of us is deprived of pain here, and we have all suffered in our own ways. I think our journey is all about healing ourselves and healing each other in our own special ways. Let's just help each other put all those pieces back together and make it to the end more beautifully. Let us help each other survive." Today we consider what it means to be here now, present not only to our own story and experience, but also to the experiences of others, and the story we create together as we share our experiences in caring and meaningful ways. This is the sacred work that has been led in this congregation under several names over the past 40 years. The Parish Visitors Program was started by the Reverend Roy Phillips in the 1980s, and soon after led by Unity member Mary Anderson for several decades. Later, under the leadership of the Reverend Jan Eller Isaacs, the program was renamed Pastoral Care, and today we call it Congregational Care. I share with you these words from Mary Anderson, who would be here to deliver them herself, but she is, predictably, offering her caring presence to her own sister in Canada right now. So Mary wrote this for me to share with you today. "The Parish Visitors Program changed my life forever. You, the congregation, invited me into your lives. You trusted me with your pain and sorrows. You shared the joy with me too. I was doing holy work. Later, when we expanded the program, more members were invited to join the group and trained through the Wilder Foundation. And as the program grew, we were able to be with you in nursing homes, in prisons, in hospital rooms, funeral homes, and doctor's appointments. This was a ministry of being present with you. This ministry was not problem-solving or providing answers, but offering a non-anxious presence. Silence was celebrated. You took care of us as we took care of you. We know the web of caring relationship in this congregation is woven over many decades, incorporating countless threads of love held by many caring hands. Each one of you plays a part in the warp and weft of that tapestry. A smaller core of congregational team members, congregational care team members, 24 of them this year, have answered the call to tend to that web of care with their own acts of presence and listening, of companioning and comforting, of serving others by walking with them on short walks and long walks through the challenges that life can bring. Today, as I read the names of our congregational care team, I invite those of you who are present in the sanctuary today to join me here on the chancel in body or spirit to receive your commissioning and blessing for the holy work that you pledge to do with all of us in this congregation. And if you are on the team, please come on up without waiting for your name. I will read the names now. Our care team leaders are Georgia Nastos, Ann Haley, Pat Kelly Hall, and Linda Churland. And our care team members include Sarah Armstrong, Mary Barrymore, Don Bronquell, Stephanie Clausen, Warren Davidson, Bill Etter, Ken Green, Tom Grove, Susan Hune, Laurel Lane, Carol Mankey, Ellen Merlin, Carol Miller, Cynthia Mills, Signe Nestingen, Helen Polig, Ron Preve, Bert Riskadal, Angie Scott, and Liz Severn. Go ahead. These are good souls, folks. You on this team have heard the call to walk with others, to listen with open heart and mind, to bend under the tree. Come on out. You can move out. You don't have to crouch. You have said yes to this holy work, knowing it will challenge you, and as Mary Anderson said, it will change you. You have still said yes. And we are grateful for that yes. Now, please share with the congregation your promises to us by answering to each question that I ask by saying, "We do." To the best of your ability, do you commit to providing your compassionate and supportive presence to the members and friends of this congregation, recognizing the spark of the holy in all? To the best of your ability, do you commit to listening with open hearts and maintaining the confidences entrusted to you with tenderness and without judgment? To the best of your ability, do you commit to modeling grace, grace of spirit, maturity of patience, hope in times of despair, the healing power of silence, as well as humor, each in their own time, and joy in right relationship? And will the congregation please rise, embody your spirit, and read the words printed in your order of worship? We have heard your promises to us, and we thank you for your service and your commitment, accompanying us on our separate paths and nurturing a culture of care within our congregation as a whole. We promise to support you in your caring ministry. To the best of our ability, we promise to be patient with your humanity, to celebrate your gifts and your kindness, and to encourage you by being honest about our own hopes, needs, and concerns. Thank you. Please remain standing. For just as these care team members have been called from among us, it is fitting that they should be commissioned and blessed among us with a laying on of hands. As the care team members now disperse down this aisle, I'm going to ask you to just make a line from the back to the front so that you distribute yourselves that way. I ask the congregation to turn and move toward the center aisle so that you can make a human thread in each pew by touching hand to shoulder of the person in front of you. And the people in the middle aisle, after these folks have walked down there, you go ahead and walk down there now. Make a line through the center. And as they make this line from back to front here, I'm going to ask those of you who are on the aisle to put your hand out and offer the energy of all those behind you. You might be able to reach them. You might just get near them. However it works, just make sure everybody has a touch. There you go. Those of you who are in the center aisle, go ahead and turn and appreciate this energy coming toward you. This is the web of care that this congregation creates and keeps well. And hear these words. For each of us knows that love's gifts can only be shared in an embodied world. Love has no hands to bless the world but ours. Love has no feet to walk alongside another but ours. Love has no eyes to gaze with compassion and kindness but ours. So may we each embody love wherever we go, however we are able. And may this care team commissioned today offer their full presence to others in the service and witness and power of love. May we all remember the touch and promise and healing of love exchanged here today. May this be the holy work we commission and bless. And amen. You may all be seated. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do that in person. And thank you, those of you who are online, for participating where you are. Some of our team members are also worshiping with us online. As you know, your support of the church is an expression of the promises we make to each other and to the world. The contributions you make enable us to do the work we have pledged to do within our church community and out in the world. Each Sunday, the majority of our offering is shared with another organization with whom we share common cause. And if you would like to nominate an organization to receive the offering, please do so. The generosity team welcomes your nominations, and the form can be found on Unity's website. Today, the larger portion of our offering is shared with the Housing Justice Center, an organization working to encourage the preservation and expansion of affordable housing for low-income people and families. This collection will support the Housing Justice Center's Renters Reclaim the Record project, offering no-cost legal assistance to renters who have been denied rental housing due to inequitable screening processes. Would the ushers please come forward? Please give as generously as you can today. We dedicate these offerings and ourselves to the greater work of the church, which is weaving a tapestry of love we call community. Thank you, Elizabeth Alexander, for that song. Beautiful. And thank you to the Unity Singers for giving it breath and voice today. Based on that prayer that we have often said at the meal in Wellspring Wednesday, we give thanks. We give thanks for being. We give thanks for being here. We give thanks for being here together, which in truth is the focus of this sermon. I should have named it Being Here Together. Today we turn from last month's theme of grief to this month's theme of witness. And I recall these beautiful words from Annie Dillard, reminding us that to witness this day and this world is itself a creative and important role to which we are all called. We are here to abet creation and to witness it, she says, to notice each thing so each thing gets noticed. Together we notice not only each mountain shadow and each stone on the beach, but we notice each other's beautiful face and complex nature, so that creation need not play to an empty house. We gather here today in the sanctuary and online in places near and far, noticing not only the mountains and shadows, the sunlight and emerging mud of this April day, but also the beauty of this community. Gathered in time and place, gathered to share our sorrows, our joys, our prayers, and our faith. We gather on this day to proclaim with our presence and our noticing that we belong to each other. The act of witnessing is truly a holy act, and one that invites us to participate in the creation of the world and in the creation of our lives, one moment at a time. By noticing not just what is happening around us, but also what is happening within us. Being here together is an invitation to be fully present, first to ourselves, in a way that allows us to be more wholly attentive to others as well. This, my friends, is the invitation we as a congregation are given in this interim year. Following the departure of our retired senior ministers and before the arrival of our new minister next year, this is a year devoted to the spiritual practice of being here together and learning to notice, as we lean into so many unknowns, what's occurring within us as well as what's occurring among us and beyond us. We might, for good reason, be feeling sorrow for all that we have had to let go of, not only in this change of ministerial leadership, but also because of the pandemic. We have been letting go of a lot. We might also, with good reason, be feeling anxious about what lies ahead. Who and how will we be as we return to a greater variety and number of in-person gatherings? Wellspring Wednesday with meals begins in a week and a half, folks. As we return to this greater number and variety of in-person gatherings, while still keeping our online door open to all those who cannot be with us in person for any variety of reasons, what will this new hybrid way of being a congregation ask of us? What will it give to us? What will it mean? And who and how will we be as we continue to integrate our anti-racist multiculturalism work with our faith development, individually and collectively? What will that ask of us? What will it give us? What will it mean? And of most imminent curiosity, who will our next ministers be? And how will their presence and leadership shape our congregational life and experience? It's a lot. by any measure, but being present to this moment with one another is the fitting antidote to the sorrow and anxiety that all of those unknowns can raise. I want to invite you now, here in the sanctuary and wherever you are, if you are worshiping with us online, to take a moment to witness what's happening within you. To bring your attention to this moment now by first noticing your own inner terrain and then turning your attention outward around you. First, just as Rich helped us center at the beginning of this service, let's get centered again, this time by intentionally letting go of whatever is not part of this moment. We'll be letting go of what spiritual teacher Sharon Salzberg calls add-ons. I love that. She talks about all those stories we tell ourselves about what happened in the past, causes for what we're feeling today, and what might happen in the future, causes for all our worries. She says these are add-ons that will distract us from this present moment. So, for example, if you're feeling tense or resistant or a little disappointed because I just told you that I'm going to invite you to do something during this sermon, you just wanted to come and listen, right? And you're already rehearsing what you're going to tell me, those of you in the service, as you walk out in the line and say, that's not what I came for. Well, that's fine. You can tell me that in the line. But in this moment, in the spirit of being here now, I ask you to let go of that. Just set it down as another add-on. Sorry, let me get this mic out of the way. Instead, I invite you to just be here now, with whatever feelings you have, moment by moment, as we share this time together. So, if you will, sit comfortably. Put your hands on your knees, palms up, like this. And I'm going to ask you, this is about letting go of whatever is not part of this moment. Whatever is crowding your thoughts and your heart. And we're going to take 3 breaths together. And with each inhale, you're going to raise your hands to your shoulder and close your fists. And with each exhale through the mouth, you're going to drop your hands back down and open them up. And as you do that exhale, imagine yourself letting go of any add-ons so that you're just here in the moment. We'll take 3 inhales. Inhale, raise your hands, close the fists. Exhale, open the hands. One more time. Inhale, close the fists up. Exhale, drop them to your knees, palms open. One more time. Inhale, closing your hands into fists at your shoulders. Exhale, letting go. Letting go. Thank you. Thank you. Now that we have let go of all that and we're here in the moment together, I ask you to think of a joy or a sorrow that you brought with you today. Maybe it's still feeling prominent in your heart. Name this emotion silently to yourself and without judgment, especially if you named a sorrow or maybe a disappointment or a regret, a fear or a worry. Try to soften your heart toward yourself as you might toward a child that just named this emotion in their heart. Offer yourself compassionate noticing. What emotion did you bring with you into the room today? And if it's a joy you named, let yourself cherish that feeling of joy, noticing if there's anything getting in the way of your experience of it. Maybe you've recently been too busy or too distracted or too set on perfectionism to find joy in anything that's less than perfect. Or too focused on fixing whatever's going wrong, or too convinced you don't deserve joy. All of these are add-ons. Push them aside, let them go, name the emotion, and be with it. Ask it what it has to tell you. Having separated it from the add-ons, try to separate it from whatever the cause of that emotion is. Just Notice the emotion. Return to it. You can use the breath always as a tool of returning. Notice where you experience this feeling in your body. Maybe your heart, your throat, your eyes, your shoulders, your stomach. Keep breathing comfortably at your own pace as you do this compassionate noticing. And when you've noticed and named the feeling, pause again to take 3 more breaths in that same way, again letting go of this too. Inhale and bring your hands up to your shoulder, fists closed. Exhale, opening your hands 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, hands open. And 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now, having tuned into your own feelings, I invite you to open your awareness to the fact that you are sharing this worship time with others. If you are here in the sanctuary, you might look around you to notice that there are others near you. If you're with us online, just sense the number of people sharing this hour with you. All of us online and in person can turn our attention to the others that are worshiping with us, even when we cannot see them. And in this gathered community, there are likely people you know and love, and many that you don't yet know. Centering yourself again on your own breath and your own feelings, open your awareness to the others around you, knowing each one of them is carrying joy and sorrow in their hearts too. And each one of them, as we open our awareness to one another, is open to sharing your joy and sorrow. We open ourselves to one another without judgment or assumptions, and with compassion and curiosity and kindness, ready to share the weight of one another's fears, of one another's grief, and to share the lift and the gift of our joys. Take 1 more breath in and out at your own speed, noticing the gift of this wider awareness, the blessing of being here together. Now I have 1 more invitation for you today. I'm going to ask you to live into being here together and turn and have a conversation with someone. I know that's radical here. But we can do this. We can do this. If you're here in the sanctuary, you might turn to someone who's right next to you, or you might look around, and if you see someone sitting alone, please feel free to move and go invite them into conversation with you. Please do not let anyone sit alone without an invitation to be in a conversation. And if you are online, there is a link in the order of service to a blog where you can post your own comments, and others will be posting theirs so that you too can be in conversation. Or if you're watching with someone, talk to the person next to you. And here's the simple request. Just share a joy or a sorrow or a difficult emotion that you brought with you into this hour of worship, or one that you experienced while you were here. Can be the one you named in meditation, or anything that occurred to you since then. Could be as simple as naming the beauty of this sanctuary and the beauty of this gathered community, or the music we heard today. Or it could be as deep as sharing a personal grief that is weighing down your heart today. Our time will be short, so choose something you can share in a minute or two, making time for the person you're sharing with to also share with you. And receive what is heard with gratitude. We're not here to fix. We're not even here to agree or decide. All you have to do is listen and say thank you. Can we do this? Treat this as the holy exchange that it can be, your offering to the others being equally held in your speaking and your listening. So just be present to one another. And we'll take about 5 minutes for this. When you hear the piano begin to play, it's time to wrap up your conversation. And I was worried you wouldn't talk. What beautiful music that cacophony of conversation is. Thank you all for participating in that, for being here together. Surely, for all the uncertainties of this time, within our own lives, among us in our congregational life, and beyond these walls in the wider world, this we can be sure of, the gift of being here together. In this moment, in any moment when we call ourselves to be present to the feelings we carry, the pain and the joy that others carry, and to offer one another our holy, compassionate listening. No matter who comes next as the ministers of this congregation, no matter what happens next in the world around us, we have had this moment together, as we will together have so many other future moments, each one an invitation into shared, sacred experience of love and belonging. This is the true strength, the vitality, and the blessing of this congregation on this day and every day to come. So may we give thanks for being here together. Amen. Our hymn is "There is More Love Somewhere." Friends, as Ram Dass said, together we are all on a journey called life. We are all a little broken and a little shattered inside. Let's help one another put all these pieces back together. Let's walk each other home. So may it be, as we give thanks for being here together. Blessings today. So you may be seated. We have a surprise. We don't have a postlude today. Go ahead and have a seat. Instead, we have a post announcement from the MST, the Ministerial Search Team. Mary Barrymore will make an announcement, and those of you who are here from the MST, come on up. Come on up here. Anybody else? Come on up from the MST. Just
Good morning. I have the honor today to stand before you as a member of the Ministerial search team. I'm glad that other members of the team have joined me here in the chancel so you can identify who we are. Mark your calendars for May 15th to 22nd. The search team has found a match for our next senior minister. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. We have extended an invitation to them to candidate with us during that week. You may be hoping that I have a name to share with you. Unfortunately, I don't yet, but we have to wait until certain matters are taken care of, just nuts and bolts, dotting I's and crossing T's, and then we'll share. But what's happening now is that the negotiations team is meeting with the candidate, and we are conducting a required background check. Once those things are completed and the minister's current congregation is informed, we will joyfully introduce to you our candidate and them to you. Watch for a congregational email that will include a note from the candidate and some photos and possibly even a video link. The candidate will preach both Sundays of candidating week, which is, again, May 15th to 22nd, as well as attend meetings and events at church and get to know as many of us as possible and begin to understand the abundance of ministry happening here at Unity. Following the second service on Sunday, May 22nd, there will be a congregational meeting where you will have the opportunity to participate in the vote to officially call that candidate as our next senior minister of Unity Church-Unitarian. You have been very patient with the quiet phase of our work, and we thank you for your ongoing interest, support, and understanding. We look forward to this next phase where we will be able to get acquainted and celebrate and look forward to the bright future ahead. Thank you.
Ovation. They have worked hard.